Hi, welcome. Do you feel like the universe is against you? Do you feel like you're in this in-between space? I'm not Catholic, but I think the Catholics call it purgatory. Like if you die and you're, it's like this in-between that we've gotten so scared of, right? And yet there's your birthday and your death day, and the dash in between is your life. So today we're talking about that magical space in between. Instead of living for these specific moments only, to actually live for your whole life. Like, might as well just be here for the whole thing. You can take it on because you signed up for this. I think that we all did. I think we signed up for this experience, whether we realized it or not. Like, I can do that life school. I can handle it. And then we get here and we're like, oh wait, what? I didn't realize how tricky it was going to be. It can be really tricky and really fun. And the thing that I'm learning more and more is that it's really scary to have coffee and a lot of white and tan. It's like the Olympics. So if you feel like right now you're in this in-between, welcome to your life. I'm excited about today's video because I'm going to share a little snippet of class with you, of this semi-private coaching class that I do. It's called Your Creative Home, and it's a master class for artists, and people can come and go. It's like a private group coaching. So sometimes there are several people, sometimes just a couple. It all really just depends. It's like the creative home workout for an artist. So the way that the class is designed is that people show up and they can work out writing ideas. They can do improvisations, work on scenes, talk. Just connecting for a couple hours can do so much for the creative process. So much of the time we miss the in-between, and that is where entrepreneurs fail. That's where relationships fail, because we're always to the end point, to that one moment, right? To the one moment in the future often, or that one moment in the past, but very little with like right here, right now. With feeling whatever you're feeling, with being with the gestation period of maybe a new creative baby that you have, a new project. We give that time to pregnancy. Why not to other beautiful creative endeavors and things in our life? So this class is like a support system. I often don't include class segments on my YouTube channel, as you've noticed, because it's a very sacred space, because it's not for anybody. It's for the artist to just cultivate. But sometimes, well, oftentimes, every class there are gems, but sometimes there's stuff that I just feel is so serendipitous. And when I talk to the class, they're like, yeah, let's do it. And yesterday's class was very intimate. There were only a few of us there, and there were some fun things that developed. And I want you to notice the space in between and how you can really be open to that space. And so many great things can happen out of it. Sometimes I get very speedy because I get so excited. It's almost like I'm on a drug or something. And when I'm teaching, I get like that. You'll notice that in the clip that I'm going to show you. Because I'm in spirit. I'm inspired. And it is a high when you get into that place. Because then time and space, it's that you're not trying to get to anything anymore. You just are. And that space feels so good. And then that's when you realize the universe is on your side. and it's magical and things can happen. And guess what? Even if you're like, that's total BS, there is no universe and nothing's on my side, it feels magical to explore that space. So why not? If something supports you in a positive way, why not just indulge in it? So I invite you, as you watch this little segment from class, we have some silliness, and there'll be some stuff that maybe doesn't make quite sense to you, because we're talking about scenes or improvisations or writing samples that you're not going to witness. I'm not going to show you the acting portion. I'm just going to show you the talk around the work that we did, because I feel like it's very serendipitous with this, with being with that space in between, that gestation, being with the question mark in your life, being with how can things work, how are things working, instead of trying to get to that end point, that one moment, to just be here, like with relationship, with work, with everything. I've been very vulnerable in the past few videos, especially in my opinion, around relationships and different things. And I'm like truly being my own best friend through it all. And through that, so many doors are opening. Instead of hurrying and trying to get to some end result, I'm just being with what is. And I feel so good. And then I have moments of like this tremendous sadness come up. And it's all good. I'm having so many more moments of joy when I don't judge the stuff that comes up. And I just go, oh, something else needs to move through me. And that's so much about acting and creating stuff. Instead of judging it, you can't have a creative process when you sit and judge it before it even has a chance to develop. So that's what we're going to share today, is just us developing and having fun and playing and laughing and being with that space in between. So I invite you to watch it with that sensibility, and that sensibility with yourself of how can I be in the space in between, because that's a magical creation space where the universe is there helping you. If something's falling away, the universe is helping you. If you're not getting something the way that you thought you wanted, the universe is helping you, and it's going to show up bigger and better than you ever could have imagined in your small mind. And when you invest in creative play and are with this gestation period, it's so fun. You do get high. It's like being a little kid. I was playing with my daughter in her room yesterday. And for those of you that are just joining this journey, I have a 5-year-old. And she said, Mommy, let's play in my room. And we were playing in her room, and it just brought back all these memories of when I was a kid. And you're just an artist through and through with no end result. Just right now, I'm just creating and playing and laughing. And we had the music on, and we had dance party, and we were playing with our dolls, and it was just play. So be with the play of your life. Know that the universe is by your side. It's all around you. That's why the space in between is so magical, because universe is in space. So fall in love with not knowing. And I hope you have fun with this little snippet from class, because there's some gems in here. And I hope that you can fall in love with this dash in between, because that is your life. The in the meantime. The big moments, the little moments, the messy moments, the joy-filled moments, the moments when something comes up and has to be moved around. When relationships shift, open, 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 because then the universe just floods in and answers and solutions and fun and play and people and right timing. It all comes to aid you. But when you stay in the I don't want this, then you get more of what you don't want. So watch this, enjoy, and I'll see you next time. In the meantime, enjoy all the mean times. Okay, here we go. A tacos shirt. I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it anymore. This
Haven't yet. What else does it say? Anything else?
Just
tacos. Subliminal messages, folks. That's what
de humo, tacos de humo, like
hot tacos.
smoke tacos.
That's de humo is smoked.
Yeah, I got this in Mexico, obviously. So that's not a winter. That's not a winter shirt.
Yeah, I got a t-shirt purveyor in Mexico.
Yeah, I've been to Cancun. Aren't you impressed? Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, that's
God.
good. That's good for the recording. Yeah.
It is, and that's actually, that would be really good. Like I would put you, if I was doing wardrobe for this guy, that would be the shirt that you could wear, and maybe a beaver hat, trucker hat.
I'm going to confess something, okay? So the reason I wrote this, because I actually went to Laguna Beach. I go to this hotel, bar, restaurant. So this is, and it's a really cool place. If you go there, you need to go to this place. And there were 3 women dancing by themselves and stuff, and they were on this table. So I'm dancing by myself, and I was with this other group of friends, and one of them, like, she's 2 heads taller than me. She's really, like, she's a volleyball or basketball player. She bumps into me like she uses, like, she body bumps into me and throws me almost up. She almost throws me across the dance floor. I didn't know if that's like her way of saying, hey, I like you.
You've talked about this before. She straight up booty bashed you.
Yeah, she booty bashed me. And then, so I think, like, wow, she must like me or something. And then they're sitting there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. No, I kind of, just laughed, and we're laughing. But then they go back to the table, and I'm with my friends, my married couple and my other friends. So I'm just having fun, right? But then I see her, and she's looking at me like with this weird face, and I go, does she want to beat me up, or does she try to show me that she's attracted to me? So that's what inspired me to write this thing, where I would actually, like, in my fantasy world, I would go, and of course I'm not married and all that, but this happens to this guy, and then he goes to the table. This is what guys fantasize about. They're going to be able to approach women, and then it's more about the conquest. I think a lot of guys, at least that's how it's a lot about the conquest. We still have that. Okay, we need to stop recording.
I know. I don't know if any of this is usable. How am I going to use this at all? This is why I don't use class, okay? If you want to know why I don't use class, this is why.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep writing. We'll see.
My neighbors, these kind of rowdy bachelor guys. And one night we all went out for sushi, and it was just me and like 4 dudes, and they were talking about the little Japanese waitress, and like, not a cute girl, but not like, she wasn't like Miss Sex Appeal. It wasn't like that type of girl. She was just like a regular little sweet Japanese lady. And they were talking about, and I was like, really? And that's exactly what they said. They're like, not for like a long-term life dating, just the conquest of like, and I'm like,
well, that makes it better.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with her. I don't care about who she is. I just want the idea of this little demure Japanese waitress.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah, see, that's a good seed, right?
See, that's not like, I can't speak for all women, but I've never thought that way. Like me and like a group of girlfriends have never been like, yeah, I have no interest in that guy, but could you imagine just banging him? Like, I don't like him at all, but could you just imagine? No, I don't want to. I don't want to. That's how you can like compartmentalize, huh? Because you don't have to have any kind of like interest, like emotional interest or like,
No, but I'm talking about not
oh
just,
no.
no, it's not the sexual, if any, if even sexual happens, right?
It writes itself, right? Like,
Hey, we cannot turn into robots, you know, we still need to keep our humanity, our manhood and stuff. Why would you take that away from us?
Nobody's taking away anything from anybody. Oh my God. See, you're just saying it. A lot of guys do think it, they just don't say it.
Yeah, my friend actually taped me dancing and then sent it to my wife. So
That's what a guy
yeah.
friend taught me this one. He goes, you know how you don't get in trouble with your girlfriend about looking at a girl? If you see her walking by, so if I'm like right here and I see her over here walking by, I look over here because see her walk, but it doesn't look like I'm walking. I catch her on the way.
You're not supposed to give those secrets away.
You know this one. This is bro code.
Of course I know.
I've caught guys doing that one. I'm like, I know what you're doing. Don't act like you're not looking. Oh, I'm not looking at her over there. I'm gonna look at her.
Yeah, but don't tell my wife, okay? I don't know.
She knows. She wouldn't have put up with you this long. Your wife is smart.
Yeah, but it's also unfair because you look that way for any woman, but if it's a hot woman, then she automatically thinks, oh, you're looking at the hot woman. I go, well, it's not my fault that she's a hot woman. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just close your eyes every time a hot woman walks by.
you're like physically unable to do that.
Well, you can't. I would have to go, close my eyes, physically close my eyes. You got to just look around. But women think, oh, you're looking at her because she's hot. You want her.
But right? That's true, because you wouldn't keep looking if they weren't attractive. Then you do look away. You're like, look away, I'm blind. Oh my God.
Okay, well, so I can keep writing a little bit. I think it flows okay.
Yeah, yes, Mariana, you keep writing that. That's gonna be a gem. Anyway. I don't know if I can, this is not the YouTube video. What is going on for you, Lindsey? Mariano's chomping at the bit to know. It's like you're like a Netflix special now. See what happens when you do something exciting? It is like people want to tune in. It's like, what's going on the Lindsey show?
Not a whole lot. Not getting a lot of hours at my current retail job. And I'm looking for a second job. I've put applications out. I've asked for more hours. That hasn't gotten anywhere so far. Just still kind of exploring the town and getting my bearings, I guess, here. And it's weird. I'll go like 3 or 4 days without working. And then I have like a 4-hour shift. And then maybe I work the next day, and then I'm off for the next 4 days again. It's not consistent. It's kind of weird, but.
Well, hold on. I want to stop you here because I love this, because this is exactly what I wanted to talk about today. I never know. I always have an intention, like I get like a spiritual hit. Same with like making the YouTube videos. Maybe this will be the video today because I didn't shoot it yet. But I was thinking about it. I was thinking about class, and I was thinking about my intention for the video I wanted to make. And I started thinking about the spaces in between and how we often skip to these endpoints. We make these endpoints like they're everything. Graduate college, get married, get the job, get a house, have a kid, whatever the big sort of like end result things are, right? And we make those moments like really big and important. And a lot of times people get really depressed, like after their wedding or something really big, because it's like they've been living through this one thing and then it's over. And you're like, now what, or whatever. So it got me thinking about the spaces in between. And like when we're talking about acting, a lot of it is in listening, right? And working off of your partner. It's those spaces in between. And in music, the best music, or not the best, but just music in general, is created about the spaces in between the notes. Otherwise, it would just be a big mess of notes, right? The song is created from the spaces in between, but we don't put a lot of emphasis on that. We put emphasis on the notes. We put emphasis on the endpoints. So like what you're going through right now is life. And we don't celebrate that. We celebrate the endpoint. You got to get the job. Oh, you're not getting the hours. Okay, what aren't you getting? You don't have this. You don't have that. Instead of going, I'm in this space in between, which is really my whole life. And so maybe I could adopt like a how am I being taken care of mentality, because this is part of my life, not just when I get the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you get the job and then you could flip it the other way. I don't have any time off. I don't get any time to explore the town. And maybe, just maybe, you're being provided this opportunity, this space in between to just be there in this new place and to absorb things. And the small mind goes, but I need money and I don't have, and I don't, right? I have to get to this thing. And the bigger part of you is going, yeah, but you need some time right now, Lindsey. You're never going to have this time again.
Yeah, I've definitely had that thought of there's a reason why I'm not working as much. But on the other side, it's just, yeah, financial. Not worry, but just it's there. It's
right. But what about if we could go into the question more instead of trying to push the question away? You see what I'm saying? It's like what I was talking about with Mariano at the beginning. Like, we're trained, especially in America, like, you know, we're trained to like, you work hard for that big dream thing, but we're not taught like necessarily like emotional intelligence, where it's like, okay, well, what happens when on my track I'm not getting the thing? Well, then just work harder. And so we're shamed a lot. Like, what's not working out then? We got to get to that end point. Hustle, do whatever you take, you know, instead of like, wow, what about this being a time to really be in the question of, what do I want to create? Because maybe there's something so much bigger than any job that your small mind could think of right now. And if you were just given that, it would actually delay this other big thing happening.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm really realizing more and more that anybody's success on the planet boils down to energy and worthiness. It's really weird. And like the most successful people, even people that don't believe in that stuff, they're doing it subconsciously. They don't even have a thought. They're not trying to do it. They're just doing it. They just, like the Kardashians, I promise you, are not worried about rent of anything. Like that's not even in their consciousness. You know what I mean? Like they're not even thinking about how am I going to pay bills? That's not in their awareness. Why? Well, because it's not their circumstance. It's not their story. But do you see what I'm saying? Like it's literally just a consciousness thing.
Yeah.
So limit ourselves by going, I have to get that job or that application or that job. When maybe the universe is going, no, there's something. We want Lindsey to have some time because there's something. You're going to write like a pilot that like is sold. And you're like the crazy, you're like, holy shit, if I didn't have that time, I wouldn't have written that. And now I'm have like a Netflix show. But
Yeah.
there's no way you could have seen that because that's not going to be an application. Like, who wants a Netflix show?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not going to be on the Craigslist. So you're focused on the Craigslist and the world, the universe is going, no, we have something so much bigger for you. Oh, you're not ready? You want to be focused on that? Oh, okay. Okay, go apply at Old Navy again then. I'm sorry. We thought we were going to give you some time to like create something huge. But you don't want that time off. You don't, okay, we'll get you to work. You want Starbucks? Where do you want to go? You know what I mean? And it's like you were just given the gift and the time, but we don't realize it because we're trained to look at what's wrong, not what's like, what could be really working here?
Yeah.
What could I have time to do that I wouldn't have time to do? And allow yourself some time to be in the question of it. See, again, we're scared of our potential, that's why it'd be easier just to get the job because then we can run away from our potential because then I can complain about the job I hate while I don't have time to do my dream because see, I have this 9-to-5 job that I hate, that I worked my ass off in getting. that I put all my energy into getting and then I got it and now I hate them for hiring me at the job that I applied for because I wish I was doing my dream. So right now you're given an opportunity to go, well, what is my dream? But see, it's scary because I'm not big enough for that. Somebody else has to give it to me. You can accept that you're going to have food today. You've accepted that amount of abundance in your consciousness. You're not worried about it. Even if you're worried about bills, right?
Yeah.
You know you could get something, some point, right? Some people can't get their head around that amount of abundance. So you just have to keep expanding the level of like, how come I was thinking about that like when I was in my 20s, I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to imagine like what I'm making now, but it's not like I'm like a multimillionaire now or whatever, because I'm like at a different threshold where I go, why can't I bust past this? It's like I accepted this amount and it's just a matter of expanding past that. Like we create our own glass ceilings for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really. So, and pretty much every person that's created like something great, it was never from an application. Never. Like even if the application was the door that opened the thing, it wasn't just that job.
Yeah.
You know, like Puff Daddy, I love his story because he was an intern, right? And he said all the interns made fun of the coffee boy position. It was like the worst of what you could get, like the least important. And so he was like, no, it isn't. He's like, because when people psychologically, they want their coffee, they're making their decisions. Coffee is super important.
So he was like, I'm going to be the best coffee runner that they've ever had. And he is in New York City. And he said, while all the other people, if they were sent to get coffee, they would just lollygag. They would take it as a break, would be gone for like an hour. He said when he got the coffee order, he ran like as fast as he could. He wanted to do it better than anybody else so that they would notice. And then they did. They're like, damn, how do you get it so fast? So then they began to rely on him, which is what he wanted. And then they began to want him over anybody else. Then he built that trust, and they were looking for, they were doing a big party promotion thing. And as an intern, this is like ballsy to go up to like huge music producers. They don't care about you. You're the coffee boy. And he was like, give me a chance to promote this party. Like, give me a chance to do it. One chance. And that's it. And they were like, no. Anyway, long story short, he did and killed it. And then ends up like discovering, some of the biggest rap artists of like the 90s, and became Puff Daddy and everything. But nobody gave that to him. Like if he had the mentality of like, I'm just going to be the coffee boy. And then maybe someday somebody will recognize something. And then I'll try to, you know what I mean? He was just like, no, I'm going to just put myself in there and be like, okay, I'm in this position. Like, how can I use it? So that's, I think, how people create like greatness. It's never just handed. It might seem like it because it's like he worked there. He got that much of an opportunity, but he could have just ended at that. Like there's a lot of interns that never go anywhere,
The lead singer of One Republic, Ryan Tedder, and he's a music producer too. And One Republic is a Colorado group. But I guess he called trying to get a job or some, I think at a record, something, trying to get a job. And he would call and be like, oh, will you put me through to so-and-so? I'm the 10 o'clock interview. He didn't have an interview. He didn't know any of these. I mean, he researched like who these executives were in HR and got far. And the person was like, we don't have a 10 o'clock once he got to the person who was intending to talk to.
Everybody, see?
He was like, damn, like that's it. You go to that level. Okay, well, let's meet up. Let's chat. And then
that's exactly right. Steven Spielberg did the same thing. He moved into an empty office on the Universal lot. He didn't even belong there. That's like, you could like go to prison or something. And he just started using their address. And that's how he got meetings. Cause he's like, I'm on Universal. And he became friends with the security guard. He just assumed the position until they realized that he was squatting in this office, this vacant office. And, but by then he already had some deals going.
right.
I mean, but that is so gutsy. Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, and I think I'm opening up more to some kind of platform, whether it's YouTube or TikTok. I don't know. So I kind of want to explore that. I wanted to email you about that. But
I love it. And I'm learning so much and I'm so inspired. I am like so inspired. And I'll tell you, like, from my own artistic journey, it is so enriching in ways that I would never have imagined. This is such a great outlet for actors, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I think that there's a way to leverage yourself. I always used to make fun of it, but that's for the people who aren't using their gifts and talents. They're using it as like a means to like belittle people or just whatever. I don't have respect for that, but it's changed so much now. There are a lot of people using their real gifts and talents, and it puts you in the driver's seat. So it's like, why not? And even if nothing happens like that, you're growing and learning so much as you go. So then when another job or something comes your way, you're like so ready.
mm-hmm.
That's what's so exciting to me about it, because like for so long as an actor, there was no way. That's why I liked stand-up, because stand-up, you can just go perform. As an actor, you have to wait until somebody cast you, or you would have to rent out an expensive theater and put on a show. But like as a stand-up, you just go do it. And as an actor, you never had that outlet. Now there is. There are a million outlets where you can go put on a show and try to find your audience for free. Just all it costs you is your time and energy. So I really encourage you to do it. I think it's really worthwhile.
Yeah, I'd like to chat with you more about it at another time.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely can. So I'm just like excited to learn more so I can impart more, because I really do think that it's such a great way for artists to just cut out the middleman and put yourself in control of your life. And like you could essentially make money from your apartment.
Yeah.
And then it's like all needs met. It's like the Lindsey show. So that's really exciting. Really exciting. Yeah. Well, I love this, Lindsey, because you just went from like, I'm not getting any hours, nobody's hiring me, to like this whole open, excited, like energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're like, no. It's kind of scary, but it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. There's been some like I said, I have thought like there's a reason I'm not working right now, or not working as much. What can I be doing? What would be fulfilling right now? What would be fun to do right now? And then I get a little overwhelmed, and I'm like, where should I even begin? Where can it? So
could you imagine, Lindsey, if like Prince was like, I just need to get a job at Target. Like, why won't Target hire me? Like, if only I could just work at Target. It's like, meanwhile, it's like Prince. Like, he's got all these songs.
yeah, so he doesn't count.
Or Beyonce,
Yeah, you could use a living legend, right? But it's true. Like any number of people, it's like, could you imagine? It's like, of course, yeah, Beyonce's not supposed to be at Starbucks. That's why. She probably wouldn't be able to get hired there. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if she wasn't Beyonce, it's like almost like the universe wouldn't allow it, probably. It's like, what? So she could be like going and applying at 100 different restaurants and babysitting jobs and everything. And she's like, I'm not getting a job anywhere. Because it's like, you're Beyonce. You're supposed to do something else. Yeah, insert anybody, right? Lady Gaga, anyone. All right, so you're up to something.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm excited for you.
If you weren't here, I wouldn't be here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's just it's so important to continue, to stay, because life problems can take away that creativity. And then when you take the risk, you're here, you take the time, and it just makes you feel alive. It's such one of the few things that made me feel so alive, and taking risk, and even writing this stuff. It was really thanks to you, Leah. I didn't think I could write. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, this is my first, but at least just doing it already breaks a barrier of me thinking, oh, I would never write anything. And now,
She kind of has that ability.
yeah, definitely. It's amazing.
Well, you guys are sweet. I mean, I just facilitate it. You guys have to jump in, but that's what makes it fun, because it's like when there's a willingness, it's like then you have so much. There's so much to do. And like, I love that meme I've seen passed around that's like, there's somebody less qualified with less credentials or whatever than you, but they're doing what you want to be doing just because they decided to. And it's like, that's really what it is. It's like, you got to just go, okay, I'm going to make something, even if it's the worst something. That's why it's brave, because nobody sets out to make crap. I always think about that, like with, like if you see a movie or something that you don't like, it's like they wanted it to work out, but it didn't. And that's why it's brave. So if you let yourself off the hook in the beginning and just go, let me just make it, it's going to be whatever, you know, it is going to be whatever it is. But when we start to try to make it, of course you want it to be something that works. But when we are so focused on it being good, we never get to the place where it can work, because it's like, it's too constricted. What are you going to say, Lindsey?
But like you were saying earlier, it's all like a teacher.
When the student is ready, the teacher arrives and all that stuff. And it really is true, because it's like, for somebody who isn't willing or open, it doesn't do anything. But like when you have that willingness and openness, and then there's an alignment with a teacher who's like holding space, it can be such a great thing. It's really fun. So I appreciate you guys and bringing your talent and your creative ideas and just playing and having fun, because it uplifts me too. It's really great. So I'm excited to see where these things go, like all of your creative ideas and paths. So just, yeah, keep showing up, keep doing it.
Yes, thank you so much, Leah. Great class again.
Great class. See you next time.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.